Today I just want to go over some quick things on e-collars for your pets. Most of you have seen my videos. You'll normally see my Rottie follow me around everywhere I go. She was trained by off-leash canine training several years ago. When you e-train your dogs, these get a lot of bad reps on them. People show burn marks and nasty stuff on their dogs' necks and stuff like that. This is not a punishment tool. This is a correction tool. Do not buy an e-collar if you just want to punish your dog for doing bad things. It has to be put on, and the dog has to be trained with positive and negative reinforcement. You can't just put it on there, the dog does something bad and zaps it, because what will happen to you, and many of you out there that have tried to do this or have dogs like this, have been traumatized, and basically your dog, every time it sees the collar, will run away and just be terrified of the collar. So again, if you're e-training your own dogs, basically, you put the collar on them for a week or two, let them wear the collar. You don't do anything, you don't do any corrections, you don't do anything. That's a good way to get them used to wearing the collar, so every time you pick up the collar, they don't know that's going to be a punishment. Now, if you've trained dogs before like this with e-collars, you can put the e-collar on them, but when you put the e-collar on them, you need to have a fun reward afterwards. So like, you put the e-collar on them, and then you take them for a walk. You still use their leash, you still use their training collar, whatever you're using. But as soon as you put their collar on, they get rewarded, so they know when they're putting this on, hey, we're going to go do something fun, we're going to go to work, we're going to do something that's rewarding, not negative. You don't wait till your dog's doing something bad, put the e-collar and put them in the corner and zap them like you would a child. That's not how you use these. Now this particular collar is an e-collar Technologies. This is the ET300. They make a newer model of this one. I actually got one of these and I was going to use it, but I ended up liking this one a little bit better. This one, to pair it with your device that is on your pet, you actually have to take it and you touch it to it, and it pairs the two units together. So you know if you've got multiple dogs, you can set these up to do one dog, two dogs, depending on the collars you buy and the models. But at least you know this one now is paired with this unit here. So you push the light button on the back or the L button to power it on, and then it has a vibrate button, which is just a kind of like a warning device. Now my Rottie, 9 times out of 10, all you have to do is that if she is doing something wrong and she stops. There's a S button on the top, which is black, that does a single pulse. The bottom red button is continuous. So basically, if your dog starts to run out in the road, you can press continuous and that'll stop it. If it starts chasing an animal that's not supposed to be chasing, normally you just want to put the top button one time and correct. You want to increase your number slowly. You don't want to just put it on 100 and hit the button and see what happens. Every dog will respond differently. I have a couple smaller dogs, and one of them is just a mix. She's about 20 pounds, and I actually have to put this on about 27 for her to respond. My Rottie, she responds at 10, which is a very, very minimal pulse. If you're afraid, put your finger on there and pull the trigger yourself, and you can feel it pulse. It's not like a zapping electrical charge. It's not like you put your finger in a 120 volt light socket. If you ever had back problems or anything like that, if you've ever had a TENS unit put on you, that's what it feels like. So once you get this on your dog, and I'll show you, I'll put it on Tilly here in a minute when she comes out and show you how easy it is to actually put it on there. You have to make sure your collar is tight enough. The pins that come with these are not always made for your breed of dog. So Tilly's got a really thick neck and she's got some thick hair. The pins that come with this originally only have contacts about, I mean, they're really microscopic contacts with it. So you can get online, there's places you can buy these at Amazon or online places, and you can get longer contacts that will actually reach down through the fur. Plus the contact makes contact whether it's sideways or slipped a little bit. It doesn't have to be, you know, touching very tips of these prongs. It can be anywhere on these prongs and it will still make contact. The next problem is most people don't want to put these on as tight as they need to be. Now, the e-collars go on tight around their neck because it has to push up against the skin. This doesn't hurt your dog. You don't want to choke your dog, but you want to be able to get this collar tight enough that you can get 2 fingers under the strap, but snugly. So this should fit on them very tight. Now, it looks uncomfortable to the dog. My dog, every now and then, if my wife puts the collar on her, she'll actually act like she's choking and stick her little tongue out and go, which is just kind of funny in a way because she knows my wife won't put the collar on as tight as it needs to be. Now, she still behaves well, but it's just kind of ironic that, you know, the collar can be on a lot tighter than my wife puts it on. and my dog basically tricks her into not putting it on so tight. So back to corrections. When you start walking your dog, if you start with something as simple as like heel seems to be the easiest one I've found working with a couple other dogs, just walking the dog, making sure the dog stays by your side. When you first correct your dog, the first thing you want to do is you want to vibrate it. You don't want to zap her for, you know, not doing anything. She doesn't even know what she's supposed to be doing yet. So a little vibration, and it's kind of like the seizure going and poking them in the neck. It just kind of gets their attention. When you start correcting, again, you start with lower numbers. You start with like an 8, and you tap the button one time. And again, depending on your dog's fur, thickness, the skin, how fat it is around their neck, different pulses will take more to get into reaction. You don't want to go from 8 to 50 though. Just keep going up a little bit each time. Once you hit the button, if she doesn't correct, then you vibrate. The next time you go up a little higher, hit the button. If she doesn't correct, you vibrate. Eventually you'll find the point where your dog starts flinching a little bit or kind of twist their neck. You'll know basically when you found their spot. Just try to remember what number you're on, and then every day your normal correction for minor incidences will be like I said, with Tilly, it's between 10 and 15, depending on how energetic she is that day. And then you're going to leave it on there, basically there at all times. Now, when you hit the continuous button, it actually jumps up an extra 5 points, because this is more of a stern correction. So I'm going to go grab my main attraction here, and I'll show you how to put the e-collar on, and I'll show you what your dog should do when you get the e-collar out, besides running away from you. Come on. Girl. Sit. Sit. Good girl. Hang on. Let me fix the camera. You want to put your collar on? Do you want to put your collar on? That's a good girl. Sit down. Good girl. So when you put the collar on, again, your dog should be calm like this. You shouldn't be running. Shouldn't be fighting. I pull the collar. I hook it once just to get it on her neck. Then I adjust it in position. So I pull it up just below her ear. And I want to pull it again tight enough. I can still get 2 fingers under it, but it has to be touching her neck. I tuck the extra in. It's right there, and it was a good girl. And she's ready to go. Again, no fuss, no muss, no problems with her. She's not barking, she's not begging, she's not crying, she's not hiding. Because she knows now we're going to go outside and we're going to go play ball, we're going to go for a little walk. And she's a happy little girl. Something else you'll notice when they're wearing the e-collar, sometimes I don't even have the control in my hand. They know once it's on, they act better. Because they know there's consequences to their actions if they're wrong. And I think they just want to, in general, help you out. So, a good girl? Or are you a good girl? Can you lay down? Oh, good girl. So again, that's how your dog should react when you get your e-collar out. If your dog is running, jumping, hiding, if you paid somebody to e-train your dog, you need to check into them. If you're e-training your dog yourself and your dog is running or hiding from you, you're doing something wrong. You're basically creating a punishment more than you are a treat or reward. Now, again, when we first started e-training her, when I first started on the follow-ups, as soon as I would put that on, I would just basically, we would take her out and we'd go play because she knows she's getting a reward. And that way she doesn't build up that fear that she's just going to be punished every time she puts it on. So after a couple of years, I mean, she just is happy to wear that collar. If I get her command collar, which is like a prong collar out to walk her, she's more than happy to put it on. Loves to put it on because she knows she's going to go somewhere. Anyhow, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll be doing some more videos with Tilly probably real shortly. And we'll do some more e-training and just some basic commands.